you see there, well, now it wasn't there then, of course, it was across in Cronin's Field, and also it was the RIC house was there, and the barracks was there. And anyway, it was rumoured that Mick O'Dan had given some information to the RIC during the 10 War, so he was given 24 hours to move out, and the station house and barracks were burnt down in 1920, and the new station was built from the compensation money. That's why it's such a big station, because they had over £3,000 compensation, so that didn't spend it all. And it's quite a big station for really what was a very small station, if you understand what I mean. That was built in 1924-25, and Paddy Nolan became the station master, and after him came Jim Cronin from Grantham, and he was moved on into Killarney. And then there was a widow, Mrs. O'Sullivan, a widow succeeded him. She married a Flanagan man from Kinmare. He was station master there, and then moved away up country. And my sister Sheila took over in October 1938. I was about 4 months old then. And she was there until 1960. And as you know, she moved on to Rathcoole as gatekeeper. And she died there in 1994. She had spent 56 years with the railway. I was making up recently, there were 5 generations of railway people on my mother's side and 3 on my father's side, and I was making up the years they gave to railway companies, and it came to over 400 years in all. So it was good service, if you like. I don't know who was station master in Moley's Bridge, but it was closed down in 1936 and the house was sold. Now Dan Cahill, we all knew Dan very well, was in Kilgarvan for many years, and in my time in Kinmare there was a man called Tim O'Leary. Now there were other trains other than the 2 trains, one to Headford and back at 11 o'clock, and then the 2 o'clock and back at 4. There were special traffic. There were 4 trains every day, as I said, and then you know the inspection cars, and the inspectors were like little buffs, if you know what I mean, and that came along. There was a spray train, and then there were ballast trains to put in extra stones if any of them were washed out and so on, and there were specials, and then there were the bogies. The bogie was a little wooden affair that was put on 2 wheels, and you legged it on, and the milesmen had that in each thing. Now, I remember there was one of those, and it was unfortunately put at the end of the platform on a toe with the wheels facing the platform, and of course there was an incline down. And I remember that on one occasion, there was a McCarthy man, I don't know which of the McCarthy's now from Clare, had ordered some stuff for Mackie Shays, and among the stuff ordered was 6 chimney pots. Now, as you know, they're all lovely. So when I was about 6, I suppose, and my sister Norrie, on the evening, we had a little competition to see who could roll them fastest down. Needless to say, they hit the bogey and they broke into smithereens, and my poor sister Sheila had the invite. She had to go into Mackie Shays the following morning and make good the goods before they came to collect them. So maybe Johnny Patzel might had a little bit of a name, as they say, for being cross. Anyway, that's when there were the specials, the bogies and so on. And you had the specials that ran from March to November. These what you would call the fair specials, the Kinmare cattle fairs. And you had a whole crowd of people working on them. You had loading porters, and you had inspectors there as well. And then you had regular inspectors, and as I said, you had the inspector cars. Now, 3 men that I remember, their names were Harman, Foote and Sides. They were inspectors that I recall. Now, you had drivers there for the specials. They were separate to the others. They usually came out of the Cork line. And there was a man called Deneen and Coffey from Fermoy branch. Jim Lynch, who was the father of Joe. He came in 1940 and was there for a few years. And indeed, he was, I remember him there. And as I said earlier, Joe used to spend his summer holidays here as a result of his connections here. Now, there were usually 26 or 7 wagons in these specials, and sometimes the cattle were loaded in Kilgarvan and sometimes in Lowbridge. There was a little siding in Lowbridge as well. And then they were taken off, these cattle, for the fattening fields of Meath and Limerick. Now, Mick Roger Sullivan, of course, was a great man, and his brother Dennis, who moved on to have a farm, and I think another brother of his, Dan, in near Callan, and their grandchildren are still, great-grandchildren are still going to school in Callan indeed. And I often remind them of their roots and Russell Croonaloo. They had also a sister, Margaret, who married a shopkeeper called Summers in Callan also. So no matter where I go, I seem to find people from home. Now the specials stopped at Low Bridge, and they either went for tea to our house or they went over to Mayonases for a pint. It was a leisurely way of life, you see. Now, then you had such things as floods. I believe there was a big one here in Clare recently, is that right? Yeah. And seemingly the 29th of June is a favourite date for floods in Clare. Maybe it's not a laughing matter, because certainly in the 1838 when there were lives lost and so on. Well, you were flooding, of course, in the Loo too, and there were, when the line was being laid originally, 6.5 miles from Hertford, that would be around Connells, maybe a bit beyond there, they couldn't get foundation for building a bridge there. They couldn't get foundation. So they got the men to cut a new channel for the Loo, and that's where the Loo is now. So they moved the Loo over, and this was all done, as I say, by pick and shovel and so on. And then they struck new foundations, so I think in a place called Gortelay. And later on, the place was subject to severe flooding, and there was a famous one in August 1938. After continuous rain, there was a mighty flood, and the ballast was all washed away, and all the gangs on the line, plus Rathmore and Killarney, they came, worked through Saturday and Sunday, and they had the track ready again for Monday. There were floods also in 41 and 42. Now, I just...
Towards the close of this evening's proceedings, but Jimmy Darcy, who was just introduced to you there a moment ago, would like to recite, but I'll let you introduce yourself, Jimmy, and say if you would do it once on my phone. I'm sure another man I need not introduce. He's home at the beginning of the week.
Thanks, last week I was going through a couple of boxes of old stuff, newsletters that my mother used to collect and send to me, and a lot of other bits and pieces. And I came across a poem or a song that I'd written, God only knows how many years ago. So I got Charlie to type it up again and change bits and pieces of it. So I'll just say it, you know. I put the name on the Great Khmer line. I'll tell you a tale, and it won't take me long, of a beautiful railway I remember in song. It started in Hertford, I'm sure you've been there, and it stopped in the picturesque town of Kenmare. It opened for traffic in 1893, a branch up the main line that runs to Tralee. A bare 20 miles for a reasonable fare, departing twice daily for the town of Kenmare. You passed by the Drumcarvan and the quarry at Cradle, where the ballast was taken for runs on the rail. Then on up the glen with its beauty so rare, the steam engine whistling its way to Kenmare. The line crossed the road of my own island moor, continued through inch for a good mile or more, then on to Loo Valley with its water so fair, the very first stop on the way to Kenmare. Then back through Loo Valley over Hollowan Ridge. The guard says the next stop will be Morley's Bridge. Kilgarvan will follow, and you better beware, before you realise it you'll be in Kenmare. There was regular service and special as well. There was tourist and local and others I'd tell. Be it match day or shopping or going to the fair, you could bank on a crowd for the train to Kenmare. The valleys of Sleth and of Rookie so fine gave pleasure to anyone using the line, with high towering mountains and rivers so rare to help you along on the trip to Kenmare. The years they passed by and changes contrived, alternative methods of transport arrived. With running costs rising and losses to bear, the end was in sight for the line to Kenmare. Objections were lodged, but the hierarchy said the cost-cutting plans were progressing ahead. The line was closed up in late '59, and that was the end of the Great Khmer line.
went to live and on the mountainside the summer's gone and all the roses falling. 'Tis you must go and I must hide. But come you back when summer's in the meadow, when all the valleys hushed and violets snow. 'Tis I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Daddy boy, should you come when all the roses falling, when I am dead, as dead I will maybe, you come and find a place where I am lying. And kneel and say, another for me. And I shall hear how soft you trail upon me. And all my grief will warmer, sweeter be. For you will never tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me.
My feet are here on Broadway. This blessed harvest moon. But all the ache that's in my heart for the spot where I was born. Blisters from working home again. But oh, just swing aside today, the old fields of Irish wheat. And I tried to wander back, or live as my forefathers did. Down the old my mother died last springtime when Ireland's fields were green, and the neighbors said our waking was the finest ever seen. There was snowdrops and primroses piled high beside her bed, and the parish church was crowded when her funeral was said. And I was here in Broadway, believe it or not. day for what it's worth and do the best I can. Since no one hears a rush for me, what need is there to moan? I go my way and draw my faith and smoke my pipe alone. Each human heart must bear its grief, no little be its groan. So God be with you, Ireland, and the old
Weather's good there in the fall. I got some friends that I could go to work in fall. Well, I wish you'd change your mind, but I ask you one more time. But we can quit this 100 times ago. Oh, strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. Well, the good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I look for you if I'm ever back this way. If I should get there before the snow falls, and if things are looking good, then you could meet me if I send you down the fair. But by then it will be winter, not too much for you to do. And those winds sure can blow cold way out there. Oh, strong winds that blow lonely, 7 seas that run high, all
all. It's marvellous to see such a great throng of people here present today at this Mass in the Church of Our Lady of Wayside in Clonkeen. And I heartily welcome each and every one of you to this great celebration. And it is one of the high points of our weekend celebration here in Clonkeen that we should come together on this day, the Feast of the Transfiguration, to worship together in the midst of this glorious area. I would like to welcome all those of you who have come a distance to be here for the Mass and for the weekend. I would like particularly to welcome my colleague and old friend, Father Dennis Burke, who served in this parish, he tells me, in the early 60s. And I don't know whether at the end of his time here he got demoted or promoted because he got sent to the street.
Dennis and Margaret bring bread and wine, the body and blood of our Lord Jesus, symbolizing the long tradition of faith in Clonkeen, handed down to us by our ancestors.
That doesn't happen by accident, you know, that's proof of long practice and rehearsal and well worked. As will be the exhibition of dancing immediately after this Mass.
I don't know, just came out.